Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
Spirit, we have a big problem. Take a look. Big lines here at Metro and at airports all across the country. What's causing the cancellations and what do you need to know before you fly? Help me, Hank, tonight.
Detroit Councilman Andre Spivey in court facing federal bribery charges. He didn't have much to say, but his attorney sure did. What he thinks is going to happen as his client stares down possible prison time if convicted.
We're going to begin, though, with breaking news coming out of Washington. According to the Associated Press, the CDC will extend the eviction moratorium for another 60 days in select areas of the country.
Those areas will be where COVID-19 infection levels are the highest. Last Thursday, the president asked Congress to try to pass an extension on the previous moratorium. It came after the Supreme Court ruled the CDC could no longer extend it, as the agency had done 3 times before. The previous moratorium expired Saturday without Congress passing an extension. Here's what President Biden had to say when asked about it a short time ago.
I've indicated to the CDC I'd like them to look at other alternatives than the one that is in power in existence, which the court has declared they're not going to allow to continue. And the CDC will have something to announce to you in the next hour to 2 hours.
So as it stands right now, 3.6 million Americans are at risk of eviction.
Let's take a look at the newest coronavirus numbers. Just in today, the state reporting 2,605 new cases over the past 4 days. That averages out to about 651 cases per day. That continues this higher trend we've been watching. 26 more deaths are also being reported over that same time period. Now, right now in Michigan, we are nowhere near the new case levels being seen across many parts of the rest of the country, clearly in another surge with the Delta variant.
Dr. Frank McGeorge joins us to talk about Michigan's Delta situation and why our case counts are out of sync with the rest of the country, Doc.
Yeah, Kim and Devin. So a week ago, Michigan had detected 88 Delta variant cases in 26 counties. The number has now increased to 233 documented Delta cases in 40 counties. Now, it's important to emphasize that this number is not an exact count. The real number of Delta cases is actually significantly higher, but the increase is real, and it tells us that it is definitely spreading.
It's estimated that the significantly more contagious Delta variant is now responsible for over 80% of new infections. This CDC map of the United States shows the level of community spread over the last 30 days. The red areas of high transmission spreading from the center of the country and engulfing most of the United States. The current map shows Michigan does have more transmission than a month ago, but not nearly the level of most of the U.S. So why aren't Michigan's numbers higher? Michigan's coronavirus surges have been out of sync with other states in the past. This graph shows the new case counts for Michigan in purple, Florida in green, Missouri in blue, Texas in rust, and Louisiana in brown. You can see last summer and fall, while the other states were increasing, Michigan remained nearly flat. But in April, just 4 months ago, we were surging while the other states were not. And now we are seeing a minimal increase while the other states have rocketed up. Josh Petrie is an epidemiologist at the University of Michigan School of Public Health.
We had a smaller surge in the fall, and we caught back up to where other states were at the time in terms of total cases in the spring. And so because we are at similar levels now, I think it is certainly possible that we will catch up again and possibly have another surge with the Delta variant in the near future.
Now, right now, we have a window of time where the Delta variant hasn't spread like wildfire in the state. We've seen in the past, once the spread begins to pick up, it just keeps accelerating as long as there's more people that can catch the virus. The point is, this is an opportunity that Michigan is being given to shore up vaccination rates and, frankly, avoid another surge.
Yeah. So, Dr. McGeorge, we know now, according to the CDC, even vaccinated people can spread the Delta variant. So if that's the case, how does increasing vaccination rates help slow the transmission?
Well, you know, while vaccinated people apparently can spread the Delta variant, they are still less likely to be infected to begin with. And of course, the best reason to get vaccinated is still simply to avoid getting more seriously ill.
Yeah.
Back to you.
Okay. Dr. McGeorge, thank you.
Big Three is bringing back the masks. Today, the UAW announced auto workers at Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis will be required to wear a mask at all plants and offices regardless of vaccine status, and that mandate starts tomorrow. This comes in response to the CDC guidance recommending masks be worn in places where COVID-19 spread has been high. Coming up at 6, we'll get reaction from workers at the plants, find out how they feel about putting the masks back on.
All right, now to the vaccine, and the state's vaccination rate is slowly rising. As of today, 63.7% of Michigan adults have received at least one vaccine dose, still far short of that initial goal of 70%. So with that said, today is the last day to enter the My Shot to Win sweepstakes. Residents must be 18 and older to have received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine to register. If you fit the criteria, you'll qualify for the remaining $500,000 giveaways and the $2 million drawing. You can enter the sweepstakes on our website. Just go to clickondetroit.com.
All right, developing right now, one person is injured during a home invasion in Rose Township. Happened near Holly Shores Drive and Coggeshall Street. We're told the alleged intruder is in custody now. Investigators believe that person acted alone. As for the person who was injured, it's expected they're going to be okay.
All right, turning now to a Local 4 traffic update in Madison Heights, where a single lane of northbound I-75 is back open between I-696 and 12 Mile.
That comes as crews continue emergency repairs on the other lanes after that sinkhole damaged the freeway. We're told a second northbound lane could reopen by the end of the week. The northbound service drive still closed, though, from 11 Mile to Gardenia. Meanwhile, on southbound I-75, 2 lanes remain open for drivers. Detroit City Councilman Andre Spivey is free tonight on $10,000 bond after being formally arraigned on federal bribery charges.
Local 4 cameras were rolling as Spivey left the courthouse. He refused to talk, but his attorney sure did. Rod Maloney is live tonight, and Rod, he definitely didn't hold back here.
He did not, and he is banking on getting a similar deal that former council member Gabe Leland just received. No jail time, just probation in a plea deal. Now, that's an important distinction for Councilmember Spivey's hope to one day becoming a lawyer. Councilmember and the Reverend Andre Spivey left federal court today without his trademark bow tie, and he appeared before a magistrate in handcuffs. He didn't say a word, instead locking himself inside his SUV and allowing his attorney, Elliot Hall, to lay out an optimistic vision of a prosperous future.
We've been dealing with the government cooperatively for the last 15 months.
Hall openly admitted the council member and a council staffer took money. The feds say at least $1,000 in cash payments went to Spivey himself.
It's $8,000 over a 4-year period, $35,000. A little bit at a time, taken from someone that he thought was a friend, but he did nothing in exchange for it. That's important.
The bribery statute says there has to be a quid pro quo, and Hall says there wasn't one. Thus, Spivey is trying to avoid pleading to a felony.
It's not like he has a house in the Hamptons or anything like that, or he's got a Mercedes-Benz. That's not what happened in this case.
Spivey is 9 months away from graduating from the Wayne State University Law School, and despite his legal entanglement, his arrest, and the feds say likely guilty plea to bribery, Hall holds out hope that Spivey can graduate and join the bar.
A lot of lawyers have been suspended for a period of time and reinstated, so we've got to go through that process if, in fact, a guilty plea is going to be entered.
And Hall told me that he expects Councilmember Spivey to continue to serve out the rest of his term through the end of the year. And in the meantime, the council member is actually facing, should he be convicted in this case, the possibility of 5 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. Reporting live, Rod Maloney, Local 4.
All right, Rod. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo fighting back against an independent investigation accusing him of a pattern of sexual misconduct that includes unwanted touching, groping, and kissing 11 women. New York's Attorney General says the evidence and the witnesses back up the allegations and that the governor's office tried to cover it up. Just moments ago, President Biden said this about the governor: "I think he should resign." Let's get to Alice Barr in Washington with more. Alice?
Devin, the results of this 5-month investigation could have long-term implications for the governor, from courtrooms to the State House. The New York Attorney General's office today issuing a scathing report accusing Governor Andrew Cuomo of sexually harassing 11 women, including a state trooper assigned to his protective detail, and retaliating against at least one woman for coming forward.
The independent investigation has concluded that Governor Andrew Cuomo sexually harassed multiple women and in doing so violated federal and state law.
The allegations range from inappropriate comments to unwanted kissing and groping. But the Attorney General says it will be up to others to decide whether to pursue criminal or civil cases. Governor Cuomo forcefully responding today in a recorded message, insisting the facts are much different than the allegations.
I never touched anyone inappropriately or made inappropriate sexual advances.
The governor denied many of the accusations while trying to put others in a different context with a photo montage to back up his side of the story.
I do kiss people on the forehead. I do kiss people on the cheek.
Investigators claim the governor's office became a hostile, fearful workplace and that some of his top staffers tried to shield him from consequences. The independent investigation authorized by Cuomo's own office uncovered more than 74,000 pieces of evidence and 179 witnesses to back up the accusers.
I believe women, and I believe these 11 women.
Today, a governor who once seemed on a fast track to re-election next year, now forced to defend himself against graphic allegations and growing calls for him to step down. New York Senators Chuck Schumer and Kirsten Gillibrand are among several lawmakers here on Capitol Hill taking a stand against Governor Cuomo and saying it's time for him to go. In Washington, Alice Barr, Local 4.
Okay, Alice, much more to come here on the News at 5. Here's Ben.
Kim and Devin, another beautiful afternoon. Temperatures barely getting to 80 degrees. And while it's nice here, reports of an earthquake just offshore in Tokyo. We'll talk about that, Kim.
Well, there's the sign. It says free COVID testing, also free COVID vaccines. These are the kinds of pop-up vaccine shops that are going on all over Detroit and parts of Wayne County. Unfortunately, you might not be surprised at how many people have actually walked in to get the shot.
The lines are long here at Detroit Metro, and many flyers are frustrated. A major airline announcing cancellations all across the country. And here at home, I have what you need to know coming up.